We have a few ground rules to go over for the debate before we actually begin. In terms of the timing, each of the debaters will get 2 or 3 minutes to introduce themselves off of the clock, and then the official debate will start after. After that, it'll be a 15-minute opening for each of the debaters, a 10-minute rebuttal, 5-minute closing statement, and after that we'll go to audience questions. Any questions or comments from the audience, we will take them at the very end. So if you have a burning question that you need to ask, hold on to it. We'll get to you later, just so that we don't break the flow of the debate. And it's also, this is a very...
and not much people know what they are and what they represent. So she's going to say
because it is a very passionate issue, we would ask that you respect the debate, respect the debaters. I know everyone has a lot to say, but allow them to say their piece. So if you have a lot, even if it's positive, even if it's applause, please hold it until the breaks between them, and hold any comments until the very end. And the same rules apply for the audience. When somebody has the mic at the end and they have their question, allow everyone to have their say before responding. So, let's go first.
Okay, we have, can everybody hear me? We have a few minutes. I'm looking at this laptop over here, and it says 15 minutes, and then it's going to count down. So I asked if I can have just a few minutes in addition to that to introduce myself. I'm Mahealani Went. My mother is Kaleikoa Amina. She was born and raised in Hilo. My dad is Antonio Perez. He was born and raised in Koloa, Kauai. My grandparents on my father's side immigrated from Spain, Malaga, Spain, in 1906. They worked as on the first sugar plantation, Koloa Sugar Plantation on Kauai. On my mother's side, my grandfather is Daniel Kaleikoa Amina, and I am very, very sure that he was present at the meeting in Hilo where the Ku'e petitions were signed. And the reason why I'm so very sure is because he signed the petition along with his younger sister, Kaleikoa, and my great-grandmother, Kalapilio. My grandfather was La'au and he took my mother regularly every month up to Halima'u. So they were Pele practitioners, and our family comes from the Pele line. I'm married to Edward Went. I live in Wailua Nui, East Maui. I am one of 10 children, and I think part of the reason that I bring a certain perspective is because my mother was a single parent. In spite of the fact that she had 10 children, at some point in her life, my mom became a single parent. And part of my life, when I was 8 years old, we moved to Honolulu, into the tenements of Honolulu. And a lot of people know this about me, but I was a newspaper girl. I sold newspapers on the corner of 4th and Kukui Streets. If any of you know downtown Honolulu, that was my corner. My mother would watch me from across the street, the second floor. It was 1278 4th Street. The blocks were all tenements. And I had the misfortune to experience and witness the tenement, which these tenement buildings used to be a whole block long. And one of them burned down to the ground, and my friend was killed, my schoolmate. One of the other things, I want to mention, and I think it's very ironic that, Lauren Thurston was the head of the so-called Committee of Safety and the lead guy for the annexations. And 2 generations later, I was selling newspapers for his grandson. So I see that connection. Our family grew up very poor. We've had to struggle. And I see things from a different perspective. I see things from alleviating suffering now. I also have a perspective of reforming the political system, but I believe that those things must occur simultaneously. And that is why, I worked for the Native Hawaiian Legal Corporation, retired after 32 years, and our work was in the trenches. It wasn't, it was just helping people from losing their lands, helping people assert access rights, helping Hawaiians, just doing everything that we could to ensure that Hawaiians could be Hawaiian in their homeland. So I just wanted to share that perspective, and mahalo for this time to introduce myself to you. Aloha.
Verina me ki aloha ano ai. Wao ni o Kaleikoa ka eo keiki no hoi, keiki papo ke mokupuni no hoi o Maui, ihi kapalau mai aba. Mai ka pō mai no hoi upoi kupuna ma ke mokune no leila ke ho'a'o ni wao e hoi kaika. Alakai, malama, ina keiki o ko Hawaii pai aina. Mai Hawaii a iki no I hau. Na kai e iwa mawaina. Aloha. Often when I speak, I always say, I speak and represent the voices of those who have passed on. May peace be on them. For they were my teachers. And I would not have been conscious. I would not have the love in my heart if it wasn't for these people who came before me and taught me and guided me. From Kauai Puna Gene, who had the greatest tongue of any Hawaiian that I ever knew. Solini Hale, who probably got arrested more than any Hawaiian I ever knew. Uncle Tommy Maunupao, the greatest aloha I ever saw and witnessed. Joy Ann was the feistiest purple-haired communist revolutionary Hawaiian I ever knew. Kamaka Hukilani Vanofe. And the Kamaka was somebody that would fight to the end. And at the Pegi Ross to see a woman dignified and unafraid. And so when I speak, I try to represent those voices as best as I can. And I can only hope that I can represent and speak for them as they had spoken. So with that, aloha.